Sir, let me come to you. As a tourism practitioner, how does this totally messed up sanitation scene in Kerala impact you?
Well, I'm a tour operator who is actually scared of tourism. So I look at tourism or the services we offer from two perspectives. Like even when it comes to sanitation or the waste mismanagement, right now I drove from Fort Cochin until I reached here by the waterway, like, I could have actually filled up 2-3 cars of waste that's just lying down. Now, one is the tourism industry, the hospitality industry, the waste that is generated, and the resources that we consume. This is totally irresponsible, the way it is done. Very few hotel routes, hardly any tour operator, hardly any houseboat owner who would actually invest money to make sure that the destination is clean. Not that the obsession with this cleanliness, as he rightly said, is another problem. We are just talking about the cosmetics, cleaning up your house nicely, the hotel looks good, but then I know many properties even so close to the rainforest, where in 13-14 years, like I'm in business for 13 years, in this 13 years I have not known a story of the waste ever coming out of it, and it's not processed inside. So this is going into the waterways, this is going into the streams, all these things are there. So one is what we as travel industry or hospitality guys, the mess that we create. The second part is, where do you find an experiential holiday? So one angle in which, a year ago, when there was a Malayalam Manorama consultation about where the Kerala tourism should go, the title was very interesting. What they were telling is, let more tourism come and let Kerala grow. This is a dangerous trend. What Kerala, a small place with such biodiversity, should do is that Kerala should have a sustainable growth so that you get high quality tourism that come into it. So if you have an ecosystem like that, then tourism entrepreneurs will come out with solution. Now, from that perspective, if you look at our business tagline is about creating better places for people to live. Only if you have better place for people to live, that you have a place for people to visit. That is the whole bottom line on which the business is run. Now, looking at what is going on, looking at the scenario I just explained, from Fort Kochi till Crowne Plaza, how much of what amount, quantity of waste is lying down on the road, how do you even bring in a quality of tourism into such a place? So it has to start again from the process of community involvement. But for the community to get involved, who would have thought, a place like Delhi, that people, even after all these decades, that they would still maintain a metro so clean. It's easy for us to always put finger against someone telling you are not following this, but if you can provide an infrastructure, I'm such a believer that our people, even such a messy community that we are, if there is a system to practice, we will follow that. But without even having an infrastructure, like even a small place like Fort Cochin, which has so many number of travelers coming in, waste management, it's actually waste. There's no management whatsoever. Do you have a waste collection space? There is nothing. One day maybe someone would come and collect, irrespective of the social class. Whether it's a high-end household or whether it's a low-end bottom of the pyramid community, same story. So there are multiple pointers, like the community has to take sense of ownership into it. But for the community to take ownership, you need an infrastructure that needs to come between a partnership, say private sector as well as the government sector. But unless and otherwise you have an infrastructure, there's no point in asking people to follow something. And regulation. In the tourism industry, where do we have any regulation? There are things written down there, but nothing gets implemented. Look at the number of houseboats that's in the backwaters. And how the waste, in our business, our guests do not even get into houseboat anymore. Because they are so saddened to see, because one is there's a traffic block. Second part is they are seeing how the laborers or employees are throwing out stuff here and there. And you don't even need to see the action of throwing. You experience the waste all around you, So it's a double-edged sword. The community has to take ownership, at the same time a regulation has to come in, and there is no other way. And this whole idea of cleanliness, we are hiding everything under the carpet and really it looks nice. That has to, exactly as you rightly pointed out.
I think that's a Malayali special.
How do you see the wash segment impacting tourism, potential tourism receipts and growth?
Oh, it's going to be a disaster soon. Like in 5 years, I see people rioting against tourism industry. It's not only that the situation, the play. Like you look at like I have this beautiful example. There's a book called How Indian Kids Go to School. How Kids Go to School in India. This was published by a school teacher in Hounslow in UK. So this, Desi Indians dominated area, and they asked, we all come in car or in public buses, but with all the snake charmers and elephants in India, how do kids go to school in India? So she said, I don't know. So she went on a sabbatical. She traveled from north to south. She saw in Spiti Valley how kids are, taken on rope for 2 kilometers. Then she came down all the way to our backwaters, and she was so surprised to see how these kids are going in small boats. Then in a class, she asked them all, like, where do you drink your water from? And kids said, from the waterway, from the backwaters. Yeah. Can you get some for me? So they all went and brought in a small bottle, and she just held a microscope and asked them to look into it. There was a wildlife inside it. Till then,
there was a zoo in it.
There was a zoo in it. And kids till then didn't know this is that they were not even boiling it. And this was 14, 15 years ago.
Much worse now.
Much worse. Can't imagine.
Now, like, there is a support system from the locals for tourism because they are making a living of it. Now, a lot of people have silently started boycotting our backwaters. The industry is not yet to accept that fact, but this is the reality. Me being a very small operator, I get inquiries telling, skip the backwater. What else is there in Kerala? Now the next is, skip Munnar. What else is there in Kerala? With all the heritage buildings disappearing in Fort Cochin,
that's also.
what else is there?
The beaches.
Kovalam is
It's
anyway
also
out.
gone.
It's all gone.
And finally skip Kerala, anywhere else.
That's exactly.
Some people have reached that stage too.
That's exactly what is unfortunately happening. And then we have all this anyway. Tourism is another crazy sector. I don't want to go into this, but then the one thing that people in the you ask, like say I was once interviewed by the BBC they came in with a team asking about how global warming is affecting small rivers in Kerala. So I said I would actually like to address it in another way. How us destroying these small rivers created global warming. They said no, that's not our focus.
Okay.
This has to be our focus because now there's a flood. Immediate first thing you are telling is it's global warming. But there's a lot of man-made disasters that we are creating which we don't want to accept. Even climate change, I believe, is a man-made disaster.
I have a question for you.
What's wrong with you?
No, actually, a lot is right with you, by the way.
Right, that's right.
My perspective. See, like I've said earlier, a lot of people are unaware that the sewage here is untreated and it's all over the place, and we're actually consuming a lot of it and recycling it in our own way. What if this word gets out?
It has to get out.
What if this word gets out to the people looking to come here as tourists?
Yes.
No, that is what is happening. That's
That's
what I'm
what
telling
already
you.
out.
Yeah.
It's already there.
But it's still in a very subtle way.
In a very subtle
Subtle
way,
way.
because they don't want to be that disrespectful to a place which was part of their dream. So they are earlier we used to parade elephants as part of large festival harassing these poor wild animals.
Who used to?
Elephant, all the tourism department and festival organizers, because this is a money churning stuff. You need elephants, it's very exotic.
The tourists are told, use this for brushing your teeth. Don't use the water.
So, like if, the moment some volunteers came in, they started distributing pamphlets about just look into the eyes of the elephant, look at the burns, look at the injuries, look at the damages that you can see on the animal body. Then this animal is not looked after. Why do you want to travel all the way from UK, come and see this harassment? So, we had to pull it off. Similarly, if you could do these it has to be creative, innovative campaign. and it doesn't cost you
No,
much.
but what you lose your
But it's
business in the
so-
process.
Anyway, you are all going to lose business, Rose.
No,
If you don't have a place to live, what
Yeah.
business are you going to do?
That's right.
All these people building up hotels in Munnar, what business do you think they are going to do after 10 years? In Wayanad, you need air conditioning. What nonsense is this?
Unimaginable some years ago. Yeah.
Or 5 years ago. December, you can walk around without a shirt now. So we are destroying everything we have and we are not bothered. We are talking about, oh, excise policy is wrong, that's why travelers are not coming. Okay, my segment might not be coming. But the reason people are no longer coming is because how long do you want to drive seeing shit all around you? Across Kerala, this is
Eating
the story.
sound, drinking sound.
Exactly, unknowingly, knowingly.
But doesn't Kerala fare better than the other states when looked at from their perspective?
What?
Like going to Agra and going to Taj Mahal for that matter.
On the cosmetic side, yes.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
it stops there.
Yeah. So
It stops at the cosmetic
So that
side.
image is still there, Kerala is very.
I think we are very close to losing it.
It's hygienic.
See,
it's
Kerala being
very
green
clean
story,
and all that.
like if there is a repeat traveler who's been to all the 3 airports 10 years ago, the same person asks that woman to land now. Look at what's there in Karipuru. You see only red soil now on there. Otherwise it was only green. You see surrounding hills all being demolished. These are basically penstocks because the river is drained. River sand is taken away. So when the sand, which is basically the cushion, 1 to 15 layer of cushion is taken away, the moment there is a rain, the water is either immediately evaporated or it just directly goes to the sea. There's no retention happening. Sand mining is now, since you can't mine sand, people have started targeting the hills. What are these hills? They are penstocks. They are stocking all this water. So we don't have water resources. So it's not really, by just cleaning up now, you have Fort Kochi Clean Foundation, all this brilliant work they are doing. But the focus is only on cleaning.
Not on prevention.
How do you make sure that the waste doesn't come on the beach? Maybe what is coming through the sea, there's a limit on what you can do as a local living in Fort Kochi. But what about the waste that is being dumped by both, it's mostly domestic travelers who do this. I don't think a European traveler or foreign traveler would come and throw trash. It's mostly us, local people as well as the domestic travelers. So there, with this storytelling is the only thing that's going to save us.
Yes.
Because telling all this academic stuff, it's not going into anyone's brain. As he said, shock them.
Maybe you're the Messiah, Gopi.
Shock
You have the
people.
best look at least. But we seriously, very seriously need one. The state is, that is a big vacuum
But
we need to fill.
you look at this, you might have heard about Lakshmi Menon. Amazing social entrepreneur.
Amumati.
Not just Amumatiri.
The
She
seed.
started a
seed
campaign
pens.
called Pen Drive. During the Biennale here, what she did was to just give out a number.
Yes, yes.
How many crores of kids are going to school? So 3.5 crores people are there. Maybe you take, even if you take 30 million kids going to school, when was the last time they all used a fountain pen? None are using it now. They are all using a disposable plastic pen. Now how do private companies make money? The more number of pens in the market. So they make sure they give you bad quality pens. So after 1 week you throw it. Are we recycling this? No. So one school in Manjeri, they collected more than 7 lakhs of pens or something like that. 700,000 pens. What do you do with it?
I
No one knows.
didn't know that Lakshmi
So-
Menon was making such an impact.
So what? She is the one you are looking for. People like her, silent, but the impact that she is creating is like unbelievable. So from Calicut, some 45-50 cyclists came with 500,000 pens. They cycled all the way, and now that's going to come out as an art installation on the Fort Cochin beach. It's called Immini Valli Onnu. Immini Valli Onnu. It's Bashir's novel, no, which is talking about the number one, when it's a collectiveness, everyone coming together as one. Now you see these pens there on the beach. At least 1% of the population who is coming there would see, oh my God, what am I doing? So now in my office, for example, none of us use plastic pens. It was just one chat with her. We are like, oops, no. So now we have a Chel Park, we have a Brill, like going back to school days.
Are they still available?
Yeah, they are still available.
So we're not even aware of that.
So that's just one woman, one Facebook post, one interaction, and change 9 people's life in my office. Now every guest that we interact with, we tell them the story. Now she didn't stop by that. Now what she is doing is she has a pen. It's called With Love. Because in that paper pen, at the end she has a with. She has a seed in it.
Seed.
So
after using it,
the plastic, the refill, there's nothing you can do about it because the ink in it is toxic. There's no way, we don't have a technology to recycle it anyway. And that plastic and that ink, she doesn't have a solution. But rest of the stuff, which is 90% of a pen, is paper. Organic, you throw it down. You just leave it. If you don't have a large farm, you just keep it in a pot.
Or it will go to a
It will grow.
I read about that.
Now, Al Jazeera last week, she is the one you're looking for, man. I just figured out. Al Jazeera did a small clipping of 90 seconds. It's gone viral.
I see.
She can't respond to emails anymore. At least 500 emails per day.
Interesting.
Yeah, and people are placing orders, not 50 or 20, 100,000, 200,000. Now that is also uplifting a village economy. So you can't look at this environment challenges, pollution, all these things as a cost. It has to, people need to make a living of it. They need to realize, like look at all the, the weeds in the backwaters, African bile and all those kind of stuff. You guys are all into technology. Is it so difficult to process those things? It's not. If Cambodia, poor Cambodia can create books out of these leaves, why can't we do it? Can't we give this to all our kids? Don't give it for free, let them all pay 1 rupee. Can't we generate income? Link it with economic activity, link it with dignity, link it with sense of association, responsibility, then it works. Otherwise, we have heard all this, politicians and activists, they are singing songs, they are raising slogans. Where is the solution? Why is the river activism not coming off the ground? It's only talk, talk and talk. Give a job to the person, then make her or him realize that for him to flourish or have a good quality of life, you need that bloody river in front of you. It has multiple aspects. Now that pen story, like, some kid now there are initiatives, it's also not such a sad story also. There are so many beautiful initiatives happening, but the problem is these are all islands of excellence. You don't have a platform to bring all these guys together.
Maybe that is what we should do, provide that
platform, but don't bring in a brand onto it.
Yes.
Like there's this beautiful initiative which we were associated in Calicut called Compassionate Code. Now, Compassionate Code is a district administration initiative. But who is running it? The show is run by local people. You and I, volunteers. So there are, I don't know, like it's a place where Operation Sulaimani was launched. It's unrelated to the topic we are discussing, but I'm talking about a module or a method that we could actually look into. Like, it doesn't have a bank account. Compassionate Code doesn't have a bank account. Operation Sulaimani is a project where it's a hunger-free Calicut initiative where if I am hungry, I might be a traveler who lost my wallet, or I'm a student who forgot my lunchbox, or I'm a poor person who doesn't have access to food or money. I can walk into any of the 124 restaurants in Calicut city right now. I can eat heart full, stomach full, no questions asked. We get inquiries from Dubai telling, why do you guys want to, be at the till where you pay the money, there's a donation box. So it's a pay forward. You had your meal. Now you want someone else to have the meal with dignity, contribute. No one knows. So 7 of us are going there, we are having food. Only the guy at the till would see that I am the one who gave the coupon. Because you need to go to one of the 45 distribution centers to collect that coupon. Then you come and pay this and no questions asked, and it's supported by Kerala Hotels and Restaurant Association also. So there are various methods. You need to be creative, storytelling, and the impact it creates. So now, like similarly, Kanoli Canal is the longest stretch of waterway in Kerala which is unused, unutilized. Even from Chandrasekharan, when he was a minister, we've been hearing about interlinking all the canals in Kerala where you get about 800-900 kilometers of waterway. What happened to all those things? So in Kanoli Canal, what they did is, again, same story. We don't have budget, we don't have budget, we don't have budget. This is the same story you hear all the time from government. Do you really need budget to figure out what is happening to your canal? Don't you have resources? Don't you have 10 friends who are engineers who can volunteer 1 hour per day? It's possible. That doesn't keep the government off the responsibility. But what I'm saying is there are so many things that people like you and I can actually do. We just need that platform. Here in Cochin, we have a very receptive district administration here. Give them ideas. They might have limitations on political pressure and all this, but if the public comes together, community comes together, this politician will come after you. They'll live off the vote bank. They will come. We need that, have a combination of bureaucracy, combination of politics. We can't live without all these guys. They also need us. You need entrepreneurs, you need politicians, you need public, everyone. And Calicut might be, every time we talk about Calicut, it's like that's because it's Calicut. This is like how Kerala is seen elsewhere in India. Oh, it worked because it's Kerala. It's an attitude stuff. You are one person, one district administrator who has the balls to stand up. It works. But he alone or she alone can't do it. Public. So Calicut is a typical, now he went off, new collector came. He can't give up on this. His image, his life is depending on that. Because if he drops this, it's like, what did you do? Things were all going so smooth. So now he has to outperform the other guy. His whole life is now about being a better collector.
Positive.
Like he might become also because the system sustained. Normally what happens, you launch a project, next administration comes, it's over. So here, you build a system that is immaculate, which is not corrupt. Because this corruption is why they're killing everything anyone wants to do. But the moment you know that there is no bank account, what is it that you can do? There's no bank account, The bank account is all here.
I think it's great concept.
That is something that we should actually try, because there won't be any tourism. But forget about tourism. If people can't live, they're going to riot. They're going to set fire. Trust me, 5 years, we continue like this. Please call me after 5 years. People will burn houseboats. If you can't drink water, what tourism are you going to do? How are you, even if you are earning 3,000, 4,000 rupees a day, if your kid can't drink fresh water, people are going to riot. That's why we are going to, all this education, progressive Kerala will turn around one day. Like Shekhar Kapoor once said, our war is not going to be on religion or anything, it's going to be on water.
Yes, right. I just saw recently, 2030 we will have only 50% of the need for water.
Kerala is projected, scientifically projected to become a desert in a few decades. Desert. Like what you see as Thar Desert today used to be a very happening civilization. That river that disappeared, Saraswati. So Kerala is supposed to go on those lines. These things people are oblivious to. So if you look at long-term projections, that's where we're going.
Let's look at how the Nest group is approaching this.
I was told from the data that, if you are individually polluting, it would not have been so bad. Now what you do is, you are collectively polluting. Okay, you collect all the waste as a consortium and dumping it into a public place again. So the contaminated water level is, the level is coming up so badly that I was told that in a span of 5 to 7 years, if you dig, you will only get E. coli and things like that anywhere in the state. So, as he said, only 2 or 3% of the actual waste is going into the real process. The rest is all collected in bulk with so-called septic tanks and dumped into public places, which is even more dangerous than if you individually contaminate it. So I think, first of all, as Mr.
Am I hearing an argument for open defecation here?
That's it. That's it. It's like, so defining certain things favoring us does not make any change. It's
Yes.
like we fooling ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay, we make some definitions which is in favor of us. That doesn't solve the problem. It's like, if you close your eyes, you are only in the darkness. The rest of the people can see. Okay, so you are closing your eyes and putting yourself into darkness. That doesn't survive. As he said, it's the culture which we all have to develop. I was traveling with one of my friends couple of weeks back, and she had a 5-year-old girl was accompanying us. And after a few hours, I just happened to see that she is carrying lot of covers and these cookies. See, she was unable to hold the entire thing. So I was just wondering and asked her. She said, I didn't find any place to dump it. So I am carrying all these things all through. 4-5 hours she has been carrying. She's putting it into pockets and rest she was handling. So this is the kind of culture they have developed. So this is the culture that we also have to develop ourselves. And then we put the blame on to the administration and civic bodies. At least I was delighted to see a statement from our Prime Minister recently that we require toilets more than temples here.
Yes.
So it's a wonderful, I think that's some change which is happening here. But now happened is happened, at least we'll have to undo certain damages we have done, and that's where we are trying to come into the picture. Like this Perambur Canal, if you look at, just while I was studying, it's hardly 25 years back. People used to swim, I've seen people used to swim, people used to fish, all these things. Now you can't go near that place. So this is the kind of things we make. So we can't put
Let's
things on
come back to
carpet and
Swachh
make it-
Bharat.